Welcome. Wait, it's plugged in. Hello. Okay. Welcome to YouTube. This is your host, Clint Eastwood. Let's see. Microphone check. Microphone is checked. And I guess I'll wait a minute before I start this audio here. Let's see. Okay. Well, I'm going to post it first before I. Oops. Wrong button. Okay. Hey, what's going on, Sparks? Let's see. Okay. Well, I'm just going to post this real quick and then I'm ready to go here. There's an excerpt from this Bill Cooper that I was going to play about some stuff from damn, stupid fucking Twitter. Nobody cares about John fucking Travolta. Okay. It's like every time I open up Twitter the last fucking day, it's all I see is John Travolta's stupid face. All right.
Folks, it was during the period of Reagan's tenure as governor of California. You know, Ronald Reagan, the one you all love so much, Red Line, the one who spent more money during his 8 years as president than all of the previous administrations combined in the history of this country. And you say, life was good in the 80s? Yeah, it was. Boy, life would be good in my family, too, if I hocked my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, and their grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren, so that my family today to live really good. Yeah, I'd borrow a couple of $100 billion every month. And boy, everybody would remember me as being great, too, because I'd throw one hell of a party, boy. I tell you, I'd hire everybody. We'd just live high on the hog. Let somebody else pay for it. Who cares if we can't even pay the interest? You really make me sick sometimes talking about how the years under Reagan were so good for America. Yeah, here old Rush now, sitting on half his brain, telling the world how it was so good under Ronald Reagan. Yeah, it was during the period of Reagan's tenure as governor of California that the LEAA pushed for the development of a national population surveillance computer system within the United States of America. Research and development programs for computer software to run such a surveillance system were funded by the LEAA from at least as early as 1970. All of these things came out of California, folks. And most of the worst of it under Reagan. One of these programs was called the Prosecutor's Management Information System, or PROMIS. Ever hear of that? Some people call it PROMIS. It's really PROMIS. Around that time, anti-Vietnam War protesters were particularly active, and alternative religious organizations were multiplying rapidly. Again, particularly in California. Before serving in Reagan's cabinet, Earl Bryan had been a combat physician involved in Operation Phoenix, the operation that Bobo Gritz was a part of and brags about being a part of. He's so proud of it. And you all say, oh, what a wonderful fellow. He was a part of Operation Phoenix. And you don't even know what it is, dummies. combat physician involved in Operation Phoenix, the Central Intelligence Agency's controversial Vietnam War assassination program. You want to elect a paid assassin to the office of President of the United States of America. And he was a paid assassin during which some of the agency's most bizarre behavior modification field experiments were conducted. You see, Operation Phoenix provided the Central Intelligence Agency with an endless supply of Viet Cong prisoner of war on which to test surgically implanted radio transceivers that had the capacity to transmit data to remotely located computers for electronic tracking purposes and receive signals for behavior modification purposes. Grice is a Trojan horse. I keep telling you that over and over again, and you keep telling me, aren't we all patriots? Why can't we all get along? You sound like Rodney King. As long as you're stupid, we're never going to get along. And that's a fact. You have no principles, no ideas, no knowledge, no base of experience. You look for what sounds good to you, or for what looks good to you, or what you've been taught to believe, and that's what you go with. And because of that, you're going to get exactly what you deserve. Every time, all the time, every time the merry-go goes around, you're going to reach out to grab the brass ring, and you're going to get a cow pie instead. No doubt, it was in Operation Phoenix that Bryan became versed in the art of psychological warfare and aware of the potential of widespread computer surveillance to control a target population. Not surprisingly then, folks, in 1974, Bryan was adamant that California needed the draconian violence research centers. And when the public and political uproar generated by concerned individuals finally caused the cancellation of the project, Bryan's final public statement on the matter was that the decision to cut off funding represented, quote, a callous disregard for public safety, end quote. It's interesting to note that the First People's Temple Party left California for the Jonestown camp in Guyana in early 1974, the very same year. The lease on the Jonestown site ran for 5 years, running out just 1 month after the massacre. Good timing, you say? Well, you betcha. The original concept for violence research centers was the brainchild of William Herman, a counterinsurgency expert for Systems Development Corporation. And he also was an advisor to Governor Reagan, who was working out a pacification plan for California. Herman told the Los Angeles Times that a good computer intelligence system would separate out the activists bent on destroying the system, and then develop a master plan to win the hearts and minds of the people. I heard that crap in Vietnam. That's psychological warfare. Herman had also worked with the RAND Corporation, the Stand Research Institute, and the Hoover Center on Violence. He's been named as a CIA agent, is currently serving an 8-year sentence in an English prison for his role in a Central Intelligence Agency counterfeiting operation, and is directly linked to the Iran-Contra affair according to government records and his own testimony. When Reagan was asked about it, he conveniently could not remember. The London Sunday Telegraph confirmed Herman's CIA connections, tracing them from 1976 to 1986. This information was also revealed at his London trial. The San Francisco Bay Guardian has identified him as an arms dealer working in Iran during the 1980s and has also linked him to the October Surprise. I'll bet you most of you don't even know what that is. Herman's relationship with Earl Bryan allegedly extends from the early 70s through to his current imprisonment. And to all the scandals that Bryan and the Reagan-Bush administrations have been associated with in between, Bryan was himself named by former Israeli intelligence operative Ari Ben-Menashe as having been present during the payment of $40 million to the Iranians to stall the release of the American hostages during the October surprise operation, and now you know what it is. And he's also been named by other sources as a CIA agent. And you're just so happy that you put Republicans back in. You don't understand, folks. You need somebody else. Because it don't matter whether it's Republican or Democrat. The end is going to be the same. And if you don't believe that, sit back and watch for a while. In 1970, Herman worked as CIA control officer to Colston Westbrook, a former CIA psychological warfare expert who had served in Vietnam and also advised the Korean Central Intelligence Agency and the Lon Nol regime in Cambodia. Between 1966 and 1969, he was an advisor to the Vietnamese Police Special Branch under the cover of working as an employee of Pacific Architects and Engineers. The firm contracted to construct the 44 interrogation torture centers known as Provincial Interrogation Centers that were erected in Vietnam as part of the Central Intelligence Agency's Phoenix program, a program that Bobo Grits is so proud to tell you when he stands up and feeds you his line of baloney. And you want to elect him president. Westbrook at the time was in the process of forming the Black Cultural Association at Vacaville Medical Facility. Oh yes, the alma mater of Charles Manson, Donald DeFreeze, and many others. Some of them have created a hue and cry to take the guns away from the American people. But you don't know any of this because you never ask any questions, you never read anything, you really don't care. Isn't that the truth? You'd really rather not know, wouldn't you? Until they come for you, or until they kill you, or kill your children, or put you in prison, or make you a slave, or take one of the 2 cars out of your garage and a couple of TV sets out of a couple of the rooms in your homes, or take half the chicken out of your pot. You don't care, do you? Westbrook at the time was in the process of forming the Black Cultural Association at Vacaville Medical Facility. This is just incredible. A state prison in California. The Vacaville State Medical Facility is also notorious for its long history of behavior control experimentation. As recently as July 1991, the Napa Sentinel reported that 3 inmates had died as a result of being forced to take behavior modification drugs. So very little has changed. The black organizer of the Black Cultural Association, which was a cover for a pilot behavior modification project, was Donald DeFreeze. That's right, the same one, the leader of the Symbionese Liberation Army, who between 1967 and 1969 had worked for the Los Angeles Police Department's Public Disorder Unit. He would later become known to the public as the infamous leader of the Symbionese Liberation Army. It was the Central Intelligence Agency psychological warfare expert Colston Westbrook who gave DeFreeze the name Cinque Umtumi, which meant 5th prophet. And who designed the Symbionese Liberation Army's intentionally fear-inspiring logo, a 7-headed cobra. No doubt, dear sheeple, it was also Westbrook and his fellow CIA Psy-War specialists who helped program DeFreeze for his starring role as Public Enemy No. 1 for the year 1974. Remember that the Branch Davidians came from the Seventh-day Adventist Church, a church that has admitted furnishing subjects for a Central Intelligence Agency mind control experiment called Project Artichoke. And there's much, much more to all of this. So we've already seen that suspicions of Central Intelligence Agency involvement in Jonestown were raised soon after the dubious circumstances surrounding deaths of the 912 men, women, and children whose bodies were recovered. Even before the massacre, however, suspicions that the CIA was using Jonestown as a base for mind control and medical experimentation had led California Democrat Senator Leo Ryan to investigate. And by that time, Ryan had already placed himself in an adversarial position with the CIA. And isn't it coincidental that he was shot and killed during his investigation? Quote, "Though his style did not change between the California Assembly and the United States Congress, the subject of his investigations did. In California, Ryan had pursued a wide variety of issues, but in Washington he would focus his work on one main topic, the domestic operations of the Central Intelligence Agency. His interest in the CIA became the dominant factor in Ryan's life and his death in Guyana." Just like Congressman McDonald, who was on that airplane that was supposedly shot down while interfering in Russian airspace. None of these things are accidents. Congressman Ryan's concern over the CIA's domestic spy operations was legitimate and well-founded. It had been reported that there were more intelligence agents illegally operating in Ryan's San Mateo County and the adjacent Santa Clara County than in all other parts of the United States combined, Washington, D.C. included. It was not until years later, when such activities were under threat of exposure, that the CIA persuaded Ronald Reagan, Red Ronnie, to amend their charter to sanction what they had been doing for years. But at the time, the CIA was illegally operating in California. It suffices to say that by 1972, when Leo Ryan was first elected to Congress, the CIA operations in his home district were massive, illegal, threatening, and very much out of control, and he focused the spotlight directly upon them, and, of course, he paid the price. Folks, you've been living in Oz for too long. You've been sleeping in the poppy fields. You've gotten away from your roots. You don't know what America is. You don't even know what's happening. You have no idea what a monster we've created under the guise of national security. It's time to go back to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. It's time to go home. It's time to go to our roots. It's time to understand who we are. It's time to be Americans. If you think there's a better place in this world, go there. If you honestly believe by destroying the only true free country that's ever existed on the face of this earth for some promised, unseen, utopian world government, then you belong in Oz, and you need to stay there. Good night. I hope that God can find it in His heart to bless us all, but I'm beginning to doubt it very seriously.
Whoa. Excuse me. Whoa. Phew. Yeah, so as you can see, that's a good example of some shenanigans from the 70s with the whole Westbrook and William Herman and Earl O'Brien, all these people. The shenanigans never stop. and all the people still think Reagan was so good and all this stuff. I don't trust Reagan. Fuck him. I mean, he has some great quotes. Don't get me wrong, but you know, you got to wonder why they needed this whole apparatus of so much surveillance. What did they do? Did they create a monster themselves? I mean, they were definitely a created monster. What's going on, Charlie? The let's see here. Put out invite if anybody wants to come on and hang out. Wait, I can't remember if I already did or not. No, I guess I did earlier, but oh well. So I do think the information technologies got some stuff to do with the. I mean, Earl Bryan headed it. I mean, here's a little intel here. What is this? This is September 5th, 1995, story by the Associated Press. The indictment of Earl Bryan and the top UPI officials. Executive head Poor Ledgers FCC says Los Angeles Associated Press, two former top officials of United Press International and Financial News Network were indicted Tuesday on charges of conspiracy to conceal the company's poor financial condition. Late 80s. Former UPI and FNN chairman Earl Bryan, his chief operating officer John F. Berenson were accused of 24 indictments of lying about to obtain 56 million in bank loans in 1989. That's a lot of money back then. Bryan headed Info Technology Incorporated, New York company with controlling interest in UPI, the International Wire Service, the FNN, a business and financial news cable TV network. Bryan and Berenson are accused of falsifying FNN's books to deceive banks. Richard Bryan's attorney, Richard Marmaro. I don't know if I'm gonna dig into that. So I think that the interestingly enough, a lot of those people that were involved in the company with all this scandal, all of a sudden after the court case, they just get their jobs right back. Oh, I wonder why. Fucking Jesus Christ, fucking So it makes you wonder what how much those uh wavelength implants have advanced over the years. Uh, you know, it's I did have a few tabs open, but they weren't just some stuff to confirm that William Herman was part of some stuff. Same with where's the other one? Yeah, so a lot of this is public knowledge. But I think uh, I think it's worth investigating because uh, who knows what kind of shenanigans they're up to these days. I mean, with the whole, I mean, you could just like take a coin, or you could just take a dart and throw it at a newspaper and it'd probably lean on fucking some kind of any subject, and it's probably somehow connected to the spooks, the the intelligence apparatus. Who knows what they're doing? I speculate. I mean, I speculate if there was another reason why they made Donald DeFreeze. Well, if they made Donald DeFreeze kidnap Patty Hearst, uh, I mean, who knows if they were working together or if it was all just a big play or if there's some kind of. Huh. Well, that's weird. Westbrook died in 1989. Well, that's interesting. I wonder if he was gonna talk. Says he died of cancer. It's interesting because Cooper says that uh, he was hit with some kind of dart in a public place in the chest, and he developed cancer in his chest, and had to. He took like a I don't remember what he said he took, like vitamin C treatment and all sorts of weird shit. He said it eventually went away, but that's because I've heard about all sorts of stuff. You never know what rumor is true and which isn't. The stuff about darts giving cancer and all this stuff. Let's not forget the let's see, there was that video at I've brought it up quite a few times. I forget what I labeled it as. Shit. Let's not forget the oh, there it is. The heart attack dart gun that the CIA brought to the church hearings.
Various devices, defensive use, there were dart guns that he's been hit.
The dart
There's
was
no question about it. It was also for
that the dart was fucking untraceable in an autopsy.
Don't point it at me.
Yeah, they're all laughing, but that's not funny. I don't think it's funny at all. The CIA's got a fucking dart gun that can fucking it's untraceable. You know, and by the way, see the Russians had the same shit, just different technology. The Russians had a small micro dart, or it wasn't even a dart; it was a little pellet, a small micro pellet, and that inside of it was a small hole drilled with some kind of toxic thing, and then they put a certain kind of wax to seal it, a wax that would melt at 98 degrees, and that there was an agent that was hit by one of these Russian dart things in the 70s or whatever, and fucking was the 70s or the 80s, and that he got hit in the back, but he didn't die from it because he had so horrible of circulation that the wax on the Russian pellet thing didn't melt, and so he lived. I can't remember the name of the dude, but it's documented. I've seen the videos about it. It's fucking crazy. Fucking Russians and their low tech fucking bullshit. I mean, I don't know. It's just fucked up. Everybody's underestimating the Russians. Everybody's, I don't know. You know, when I was a kid, I thought my uncle was real cool. He was in the army and stuff, and then he married this fucking German lady. Then he turned into a raging socialist. It was like, what the fuck is wrong with this motherfucker? My grandpa would be fucking spinning in his grave. Fucking, you know, it's like I've read about the Russian 100-year mind war against America, where they would convince Americans that socialism is the only thing that'll save us. Fucking
Does this pistol fire the dart?
Yes, it does, Mr. Chairman. The round thing at the top is obviously the sight. The rest of it is what is practically a normal 45, although it's special. However, it works by electricity.
yeah.
I believe about 100 yards.
When it strikes the
There's the part
target,
where he says that it's untraceable or
does
whatever.
the target know that he's been hit and about to die?
That depends, Mr. Chairman, on the particular dart used. There are different kinds of these flechettes that were used in various weapon systems, and a special one was developed which potentially will be able to enter the target without perception.
Without perception.
Right.
And did you find such darts in the library,
We did.
in the laboratory?
We did.
Remember, don't think of these people like some kind of paper pushers. They're like fucking ninjas. Straight up fucking ninjas. All their shenanigans.
Yes.
Who knows what's really going on?
Isn't it true, too, that
I mean, not relevant to the video, but modern
the
times.
effort not only involved designing a gun that could strike a human target without knowledge of the person who'd been struck, but also the toxin itself would not appear in the autopsy?
Well, there was an attempt.
Or the dart?
Yes, so that there was no way of perceiving that the target was him.
As a murder instrument, that's about as efficient as you can get, isn't it?
It is a weapon, a very serious weapon.
Yeah, so he just said on the audio it wouldn't show up on autopsy. So who knows how many people that got murked by, it's just fucked up. Who knows what great lengths different groups will go to cover stuff up. I mean, I brought this up the other night. Joseph Love, the writer of the Reagan song, he was trying to uncover some kind of prostitution ring in Ohio or Indiana. I think it was Indiana. And they stomped him to death in court. And then the family tried to sue, and they didn't even get their case. They got the case thrown out. And they watched their own family get fucking stomped out. It's like, Jesus. Fucking, what is that song? It's a cold, cold world. I don't know. That's not how it goes. Yeah, well, it's all always under the guise of democracy. The fucking mask of democracy. The mask of democracy. I didn't have a lot set up. I just got back from a card game. Actually, I didn't really go anywhere. The card game was here. Well, I'm not gonna dig into that stuff right now. The whole thing about the where the fuck is that book? There's quite a few there's quite a few different programs and stuff, which no, that's the wrong one. Damn it. Yeah, I got a CIA document on LaRouche by Dennis King and Ronald Raidos. That's I gotta find that Cooper episode where he talks about LaRouche, because I can't remember the dirt on LaRouche. Like 90% of LaRouche's information is totally accurate, but I don't remember what it was that Cooper was critiquing. Let's see here. Okay, so here's the let me just bring this on the screen. This is the Freedom of Information Act on Jolyon West. We're just gonna dig through it, see if we can find anything that's relevant. Sometimes researching is just really slow and fucking boring as shit. Wait, this was just a Freedom of Information Act log. Okay, let's see what we got here. West. Wait, no. I can't remember how to spell Jolyon. J-O. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this was just a request for Freedom of Information Act. That doesn't mean it's actually real, this thing here. But this Margaret Singer is connected to Jolyon West. That's for sure. What is this? 98. Okay, well, this is irrelevant. These are only two. These are just case logs of. I forgot what I was I forgot which one that was. Okay, let me just bring up a different one. I got it. Okay, what do we got here? No, that's not it. Grill Flame Project. I don't remember what that one was. I don't think this is relevant. No, I'm gonna bring it up anyways. Is it that one right there? Okay. Grill Flame Project. Where's the cover page? Okay. So this is released 2000. We got the numbers backwards there. Grill Flame Project. Scientific and Technical Intelligence. 1983. Dissemination of and extraction of information controlled by originator. Okay, let's see. This report summarizes results of the 3-year Grill Flame project, which terminated at the close of FY 1983. It contains key findings of various project activities and identifies potential follow-on efforts, types of investigations, methods used for their evaluation, other aspects of the Grill Flame project. Blah, blah. In addition to the DIA evaluation, the Grill Flame project also has been reviewed by an independent scientific evaluation team. Blah blah. Okay, let's see background. What is this? Remote viewing. Oh, that's weird. Statistical methods. I mean, I don't even know that they do that shit, but let's see. Burger King Whopper. Grill Flame. Yeah, Burger King's pretty good. Let's see. Joint DIA and Army effort with DIA providing overall project management coordination. Project's main goals were to evaluate the threat that foreign psychoenergetic achievements might pose to U.S. national security, to explore the potential of psychoenergetics for the use of U.S. What the fuck are they talking about? Psychoenergetics, telepathy? Fucking psychoenergetics refers to classes of human capabilities that are parapsychological in nature. Well, I've seen that type of shit. There are two main categories: informational and energetic, that can be defined as remote viewing, extrasensory perception, ability of an individual to access and describe remote geographic areas, or to access and describe concealed data via undefined transmission mechanisms. Telepathy. Psychokinesis, mental ability to influence physical or biological systems via undefined physical mechanisms. Yeah, what book was that? There was one of those magic books talking about the men that stare at goats scenario of basically, I don't like to say it 'cause it's fucked up, but to stare at a goat until it dies. I mean, who the fuck would even sit there and attempt to do that shit? That's fucked up. I mean, let's see. Yeah, musicians. No form or con. Primary focus of Grill Flame. They make it sound like moths or something. Moths to the flame. Nah, I don't know. Was remote viewing phenomena. However, psychokinesis result research in the USSR, China, and other foreign countries was examined to see the occurrence of remote viewing could be detected by scientific instrumentation. This has implications for possible countermeasures to foreign use of remote viewing. No form to assist in achieving Grill Flame goals. SRI International was selected as contractor due to its extensive experience in investigating remote viewing phenomenon. Let's see here. 3-year program, SRI, assistant DIA, and evaluating potential threat of foreign achievements in psychoenergetics and determining if remote viewing could be developed sufficiently for in-house DoD use. Inherent in this effort were the reality, repeatability, and trainability of remote viewing phenomenon. Issues related to scientific understanding of the phenomenon or to phenomena transmission mechanisms were not addressed, since this was beyond project scope and available resources. Hey, what's going on? Let's see here. Yeah, so the the whole psychic spy thing is weird. You know, sometimes I can pick up a deck of cards, and name the card on the top. I need to go gambling. Talking about psychic shit. I need to fucking go gambling. I've never actually been to a casino, but I'm really good at poker. I'm not that great at blackjack, but I can play a good hand of poker. Yeah. Let's see, where was I at here? Yeah, there was some Leonard Nimoy episodes about the In Search of, talking about remote viewing and all this stuff. You know, I think that's half of what these crazy people they see is remote viewing, but then it's bad. The whole paranormal world is so crazy that I don't even like to get into it because it's pretty weird. I've studied the paranormal before I ever studied anything else. I've always been interested in the paranormal. Yeah, you just gotta pretend like you got a losing hand. Let's see, funding for the SRI contract provided jointly by the DA, $492,000 per year. What the fuck are they doing with $492,000 back in? They took $500,000 to fund to see if people were fucking psychic. Oh, Jesus Christ. What the fuck did they do with all that money? So every 2 years, that's $1 million. So 1980s, they spent $5 million on psychic research. Well, that just pisses me off. I need to quit smoking cigarettes. Okay. Let's see. Snowform, Orcon, Winintel, the Army portion of Grill Flame also included a small in-house group located in INSCOM headquarters that focused exclusively on operational matters and that supported remote viewing training methods developed at SRI. Army portion of the Grill Flame project was curtailed in 1982 as a result of congressional. Okay, so they only got $1 million out of it in the 80s. So it was curtailed as a result of congressional authorization action. So Congress was like, "Whoa, what the fuck's going on?" Oh, excuse me. I ate some pizza that was. I don't usually eat fucking get like a vegetable pizza and then add bacon. I don't usually eat bacon. I don't usually eat pizza. Let's see. Key findings: remote viewing is real phenomenon and is not degraded by distance or shielding. Remote viewing ability can be improved by appropriate training procedures. Remote viewing has potential for U.S. intelligence applications. However, at the stage of development, scriptive content, e.g., sketches, configurations, is more reliable than analytic contact, e.g., function, complex technical data. Potential threats: foreign achievements in psychoenergetic USSR. Yeah, they're definitely got fucking psychic motherfuckers in Russia. I've seen all sorts of weird videos of people moving stuff inside of glass boxes and shit. Makes you wonder about like people like that Chris Angel dude. Lives at the 33rd floor of the Luxor Hotel and does all sorts of weird tricks that can't be explained. Is he a fucking is he doing psychic powers, you know? Let's see, remote viewing data, blah, blah. General, let's skip through this here. 3-year program, blah, blah. What is this? Puthoff and Targ, perceptual channel for information transfer over kilometer distances. Perpetual augmentation techniques. Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead here. Remote viewing enhancement, including alternative targeting strategies, blah, blah. Before the fact indicators of success. Location tracking search problem, training routine operational RV procedures. Yeah, it reminds me of that scene on that what's that movie? The Haunting movie or whatever with Michael J. Fox. There's that agent dude, and he's like got all these scars and tattoos and shit from all these cults and stuff that he joined. Let's see. Yeah, so that's what I think they're doing with these secret societies and Mormons and Scientologists. They're training them for weird mind tricks and fucking throwing them into intel and stuff. And I think this is why the whole world's gone to shit, because there's a bunch of idiots running shit. Even if you could see the fucking some kind of psychic shit, that doesn't make you a fucking musician. No. Doesn't make you a genius if you're just because somebody was psychic, you know. Nah, I think I'm gonna grab a cigarette. Fuck it. I got the window and the fan open. Okay, yeah, 1 second. I'm gonna grab a cigarette. Well, yeah, I should probably buy one of those hash pens that smoke that shit instead of cigarettes. It's not the same buzz, though. I mean, let's see here. So, what was I talking about? Let me just skip through this, see if there's anything that sticks out here. Well, this is pretty boring. Well, I guess I forgot to send out invites on Twitter. I mean, well, let me roll my cigarette real quick. I'm the only YouTuber that rolls a cigarette live on the air. Yeah, that's because I don't give a fuck. Well, I mean, I do, but I just. So maybe I should discuss psychic stuff, ghost type stuff. I don't know. I mean, according to the occults, when they put people in these trances, the person is the person gets fucking what's that word? I'm just trying to put this one cigarette in the other cigarette because the store-bought cigarettes chlorine paper, and I bought some tubes that don't have chlorine. Well, what was I getting at? Fuck, I'm way too stoned. I probably smoked like 12 joints today. Well, actually, I'm not really that stoned. But so, psychic, you know, Oh yeah, hypnosis. That's what I was getting at. People go in the hypnotic state. The cultists think that the person's channeling spirits and all this shit, and that they they believe in all this past. I don't think the past life shit's real. I mean, I think it's some kind of ruse. Okay, I was just making sure my ashtray was on fire. Because it's weird about what Swedenborg said. I keep thinking about that every once in a while. It's like Swedenborg, this dude in the 1700s, supposedly Illuminati and stuff, but he went crazy into spiritism, and that I don't know if he went crazy or if he was writing from an observational point of view of saying that he's seen spirits and that they were all lying to him, trying to manipulate him, and fucking that's very interesting. What the fuck was on that cigarette? Okay, for some reason that one cigarette equaled like half a cigarette. We're all getting ripped off. I should have weighed how much tobacco was in that store bought cigarette. But so yeah, so the occultists think that they're bringing back these past lives, but I think that what's coming through these people is really some kind of ghost that's like pretending to be someone or trying to use, because I do think that ghosts could read people's minds and that uh they could appear to someone as what person wants to see. uh that's why I had so many weird psychedelic trips where like sometimes the stuff you'd see, it was like once you got a good look at it, like it would all melt off, and then it would be this like blank shadow fucking thing of like just pure blackness that was like 7 feet tall and fucking weird, creepy shit. That fucking then like 3 minutes later, the psychedelic would wear off, and then you would just the whole room would be normal again, and be like, "What the fuck? That's some weird shit." Uh, like I tell people about that bad trip I had once. That was the same day that there was a black helicopter flying and hovering directly over my house. This is like when I lived somewhere else, and like I thought I was like tripping so hard that I put like a blip on the radar or something. I mean, I don't have no way to explain. I don't know why there was a black helicopter hovering over my house. It was like very bizarre. Yeah, that was like 15 years ago. That's why I don't trip anymore. Weird shit happens. It's like maybe if like aliens did land, I would trip. But other than that, I'm not tripping ever again. Fuck that. I mean, like maybe if China invaded, freaking use the psychedelics to outsmart them. Just like a thing of ramen noodles. No. I got nothing. Yeah, I don't like to trip. I don't like to see weird ghost shit anymore. Uh, so yeah, there's all sorts of questionable videos. This one National Geographic dude, he went to India, and he oh, I think I remember this. There's some like vague drawings of some Russian facilities. He went to India, and he reportedly heard the or seen the rope trick, but it was done in the real method where he claimed that a person climbed up a rope in India, and then some dude or the dude who climbed with the rope first disappeared, and and then the person went up there with a sword and like swung at the air with the scimitar, and then all these limbs and stuff fell to the ground, and then they claim that the dude climbed the rope back down and put them all in the basket, and then the dude that climbed up the rope that disappeared, who turned into like pieces, then reappeared in the basket. I'm not sure if it was some kind of advanced trickery or what. Yeah, these are some pretty vague. No, I guess that's pretty accurate. Radio station, radio tower. Makes you wonder. I mean, damn it, how's the cigarette already gone? We're getting ripped off. Can't even get a good cigarette. All right. Well, maybe I should smoke another joint. I'm gonna switch folders here and go to a different document. Let's see here. So I know I got some more of these. Let's see. What is this one? This looks like it's 1961. Oops, wrong button. Okay, one moment. Where's the button at? I push too many buttons to do all this stupid shit. You just make the camera at the big screen, and then I'll have the big screen behind me, and just. So what is this? Memorandum, George Bundy. Okay, let's see. Facilitate implementations, paragraph 7 of NSC 5412-2, and to assure adequate staffing of NSC 5412-2 matters of advance from their consideration of NSC. Okay, so any new covert program to be recommended for policy approval by a special group will be made the subject of memorandum prepared by the agency initiating the proposal, containing sufficient background and related information. Permit careful weighing by the special group members of any significant policy questions. Okay, it's all just legal mumble jumbles. Where the fuck is the meat to the matter of this fucking okay, I don't remember why I even saved this, but it's not. What is NSC 5412-2? Let's see. NSC, oops, 54, wait, yeah, 12-2. Oops. Oh, wait, I already clicked on that. Covert operations. Okay, it's a covert operations memorandum. Create and exploit troublesome problems for international communism and peer relations between the USSR, Communist China, and between them and their satellites, blah, blah. Discredit the prestige and ideology of international communism and reduce the strengths of its parties and other elements. Counter any threat of a party. Well, it seems like I'm all for this, so. Let's see here. Establish policies and to extend practicable in areas dominated or threatened by international communists, develop underground resistance and facilitate covert. Wait, so what year was this? Oh, this is the 50s. This is when they started fucking doing that Middle East shit. Okay, that's why I saved it. All right, let's see what else we got here. This one's funny. Yeah, I brought this one out before. Let's see. Is it that one? Okay, so this is where is this from? approved for release 2001, 1964. Okay, I've probably gonna just go to a different one because of contents, sample cases, UFO. Yeah, this is pretty boring. This is a witness sighting. UFO hovered over motion 6,000 feet. Blah blah. I think this is the report where it says they had something on the radar at 50,000 miles an hour in like 1960. 3/4 mile. Yeah, interestingly enough, there was a. Well, I'm gonna bring this to a different point because I've got a picture that's relevant. When people see the UFOs, they go in weird angles, like 30-degree angles, and like there's a picture from the where's it at here? Well, maybe I'll just dig it up this way quicker. Okay, there's a picture from the from over by New Mexico, and it's a here it is. Wait, I don't got the whole. Where's the rest of the picture? God damn it, I didn't screenshot the whole thing. Well, that's an up close of the thing, but it was a compass that was 30-degree angles, and that the oh fuck, what the fuck book was that? Oh shit, this is gonna take me forever. Well, anyways, the compass had a swastika in the middle of it, and that it was and it was in increments of 30 degrees, and that it seemed like, I don't know, it's just weird. The I think the Nazis got UFOs. That the government took over the thing, and that they're man-made, and that they fly at 30-degree angles. Okay. I got too much shit in here. What was I looking up here? Okay. Well, I got a lot of weird random shit here. What is this? 2011. No, let's see here. Okay, well, maybe I better smoke another joint. Okay, there's a lot going on with this conspiracy stuff. It's definitely grueling on the brain to fucking dig through shit and think about all this stuff all the time. Let's see. Okay, well, I'm not gonna get into that right now. So we've been seeing just a lot of, I mean, like fucking pure retardation. I mean, it doesn't get no much fucking retarded or more. I didn't even say that right. Fucking everybody gives a fuck about what John Travolta looks like. Who gives a fuck? You see all this stuff on Twitter. It's like, who gives a fuck? Why are people giving a shit? You know, it's like these stupid fucking actors and shit. You know, it makes, you know, it's like you see these pictures of actors and celebrities. They're just like, oh, just some stupid picture, and it's like, it's weird that people idolize celebrities. I mean, when you think about it, like half the musicians are all just uneducated idiots that and the same thing with these movie stars. They don't know shit. They don't know jack shit. I mean, Wow, it's just ridiculous. World full of real shit going on, and the whole world is fascinated with movie stars and stuff. It's like, nah, I don't know. I was always kind of, I don't know. I always thought Arnold was such a badass or something when I was a kid. And then I find out that I'm bigger than Arnold. It's like, what the fuck? Fucking movies and shit. Stupid movies. They make the world seem like such a different place. You grow up watching movies and you think that you know what the world is. I mean, that's what the problem with the world is. Most people watch all these movies and think it's reality or something. And it's like they're living in fantasy land. I don't know. What does it say? Greece. Meta Joe McGuire's been compromised. So the whole UFO thing is bizarre. Still wondering about that doctor. I can't think of his name, but he was paid millions of dollars by Rockefeller to investigate these fucking Looney Tunes that thought they were having alien abduction phenomenon, and that I don't know, makes you wonder if what makes you wonder is Strieber full of shit? Was Whitley Strieber brainwashed? Was all of it was he in some kooky cult and then he was just brainwashed, and then or was it all just he knew it was all fake, or who knows what actually happened with some of those scenarios? And then if it did happen, why does it go public? Does it go public because uh, they want to break the consciousness of people or something, or was it a psychological reason, or is it really a slow introduction to the whole what's really going on phenomenon? Or I mean, I would say it's all bullshit. It's all just Nazi technology. I mean, nobody even really knows. It's just fucked up. It's compartmentalized so much, nobody really knows what's going on. I think that's half the problem. It's like if somebody doesn't see the whole picture, and then they're never going to really be able to solve it. So, or even like properly analyze it. That's what I've been trying to read about this shit for so long. Trying to sit here and read, and I don't know. Everybody else thinks I'm wasting my time and stuff, but it's like I don't know. I mean, like everything just seems like everything's just ran by a bunch of idiots. It's like if somebody doesn't think about all this stuff, then nobody's ever gonna do it. And like, I don't know. I just trying to be a good journalist, I guess. Uh, what does that say? Been to the store. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? uh, let's see here. Investigation. Excuse me. Communist activities. Limits of growth. Club of Rome. What do we got here? I'm trying to look for some more modern stuff here. Confirmation of Nelson Rockefeller as VP of the UN. Or wait. Let's see. Studies in intelligence. Oh, that's interesting. Let's put this one on. This one's Bill Colby himself. Well, I'll be a rat's ass. 19. CIA's role in the study of UFOs. Douglas McEachin. Okay. Let's see. Policy as of late, dual use of intelligence technology, blueprint for survival, how to succeed in the DI. Say DI. Major intelligence challenge toward a functional model of information warfare. Page 49. That's interesting. CIA assessment of the Soviet Union, page 57. CIA's role in the study of UFOs, page 67. Why the CIA analysts were so doubtful about Vietnam. View of congressional oversight. CIA support to the Nazi war criminal investigations. Oh, that's interesting. The best map of Moscow. That's just hilarious. You're telling me that all. What year was this from? You're telling me they couldn't get someone in Russia to get a fucking good map? Yeah, the let's see, what page was I gonna go to? 67, I think. Okay. Let's see. While agency concern over UFOs was substantial until the 50s, CIA has since paid only limited and peripheral attention to the phenomena. Okay, well, let's skip this one. Let's go to this Nazi article here. Kevin C. Ruffner. Separating fact from fishing. I almost said fishing in Michigan at the same time. Alright, I smoked way too much weed today. Fact from fiction about the alleged post-war relations between American intelligence, its former German enemies, and collaborators. It's both difficult and confusing. The story of the escaped Nazis after the collapse of the Third Reich in 1945, as long grip novelists and Hollywood screenwriters provided the grist for such box office hits as Boys from the Brazil and Odessa File. Since the 1970s, the topic has also provided steady fare for historians and journalists anxious to explore supposed cabals between American intelligence agencies and such personalities as Joseph Mengele, the Angel of Death at Auschwitz, former Austrian President Kurt Waldheim, a German intelligence officer in the Balkans War during World War II. Also, remember Kurt Waldheim was the Secretary General of the United Nations from 1972 to 1981. Blah, blah. The General Accounting Office, at the request of the U.S. Congress, has conducted 2 major investigations. Well, whoa, we can trust them. I don't even know if there's a point in reading this. I mean, I've skimmed through this book before, but pretty sure I just read the UFO section, the Vietnam section. In addition, the Immigration Naturalization Service, and later the Department of Justice Office of Special Investigations, OSI, has proceeded the independent inquiry since the mid-70s. OSI dedicated solely to the investigation, denaturalization, and deportation of individuals who violated U.S. immigration laws, covering up legal activities during World War II has stripped 52 people their citizenship and removed another 44 since 1979. In addition, OSI has conducted nearly 1,500 investigations and places and names of some 60,000 individuals on the watch list that alerts U.S. immigration officials to prevent their entry into the United States. Well, I'm sure they got fucking paperwork that's, continuing suspicions. Despite these efforts, doubts persist in some circles as to whether the United States government has been fully honest about the motion charge issue. For example, Christopher Simpson in his 1988 book, Blowback: America's Recruitment of Nazis and the Effects of the Cold War, asserts that U.S. intelligence agency did know or had good reason to suspect that many contract agents they hired during the Cold War had committed crimes against humanity on behalf of the Nazis. CIA and the State Department, the U.S. Army Intelligence, Simpson states each created special programs for the specific purpose of bringing former selected Nazis and collaborators to the United States. These other other projects protected such people by placing them on U.S. payrolls overseas. The fact that most U.S. intelligence records from this time period are still classified only lends greater mystery to the issue. The CIA comes under particular scrutiny because of its secrecy and reputation over the years. Observers have charged that the CIA's predecessor organizations such as the Office of Strategic Services, Strategical Services Unit, and the CIA, wait, no, I didn't say CIA, Central Intelligence Group, employed German intelligence personnel as sources of information. Afterward, the CIA sponsored the New West German Intelligence Service, an organization under the control of officers of the defunct German General Staff. Ranks of the organization sheltered many officers of the West of the German SS and SD whose loyalty to the New West German government remained in doubt. Let's see. CIA and its predecessor organizations employed former collaborators, Third Reich, primarily Eastern and Southern Europe, initially as sources of information, later as operational assets of activities behind the Iron Curtain. Let's skip through. CIA, including OPC, formed secret armies for various emigrant groups in Europe and trained them in the United States. The ranks of these groups included numerous former collaborators in Nazi Germany and some blah, blah, blah. There's been Germans training in the United States for quite some time, if you're not aware of that. Also Russians, also many other different Swiss, all sorts of fucking rat lines, blah blah. CIA abused its legal authority to bring Soviet bloc defectors and other persons of interest in the United States. These allegations or these facts? The fact that most U.S. intelligence records from the time period are still classified. Blah blah. Observers have charted. Okay, so these are accusations. CIA covered up. It's like the CIA covered up these activities. Who the fuck did he have edit this book? It's these. Like the CIA covered up these activities from. That doesn't make sense. We got a bunch of fucking idiots running everything. It's these. Did he not read his own book and make sure that it wasn't fucked? Let's see here. Okay, blah blah. This joint tastes good. May 1978, the GAO released its formal report. Widespread conspiracy to obstruct probes of alleged Nazi war criminals not supported by available evidence. Controversy may continue. Regarding CIA's involvement, the GAO found that in its search for the confirmation of 111 Alleged Nazi war criminals, the agency had no record on 54. The remaining 57 CIA had referenced such as newspaper articles and general correspondence with other federal agencies on 35 and left 22 individuals from whom CIA admitted the GAO investigators had, well, I'd bet money the fucking people they couldn't find were fucking employed by the fucking blah blah blah. Yeah. GAO noted the CIA is only one person in the United States. Blah blah. Blah blah. The CIA employed these individuals after they had been screened by federal agencies and permitted to enter the United States. The agency denied that its employed any individual against whom allegations of war crimes were well founded. The report reiterated CIA's contention that these people were all strongly anti-communist, and their willingness to cooperate and their knowledgeability were the definitive factors leading to their use of the CIA. Nah, that's what I figured. But it's like, how can you trust them? How can you fucking trust them? That's what I'm saying. They employed all these fucking Nazis. They don't. It's the whole law of fucking keep your friends close, but your enemies closer, or whatever. Fucking it's like. Why does my camera always freeze? It's like, imagine if like the well, it's like somebody, if the Fourth Reich was still around, and that if they had Nazis working in the intelligence, that they would have all sorts of little spies finding all the cracks in the intelligence network of the United States. And so whoever was in charge of that fucking operation must have been out of their fucking minds. I mean, that's just fucking insane. They think that the I don't know, it's just fucked up. You know, makes you wonder why. I don't know. I mean, I'm against the ages of the dark ages of savagery and all that stuff, but like, you know, it's must have been a much simpler time back then. Like, oh, there's barbarians here, either run or fight. uh, yeah, this is Bill Kobe's book. Billy Goat Kobe, his brother Billy Goat Gates. So I'm wondering what they say about Kurt Waldheim. Let's see here. I mean, I'm sure they just say the same shit. Oh, Waldheim, we didn't know he was a Nazi before we put him at the head of the fucking UN. Jesus Christ. Yeah, exactly. Exacto mundo. That's why I played that Bill Cooper thing earlier, because it's like he's talking about Colson Westbrook, Earl Bryan, and all those other motherfuckers. Let's see, Kurt Waldheim case, 1986-87, in which the international figure, a former Secretary General of the UN and soon-to-be Austrian president, stood accused of hiding his role in World War II. While Waldheim had long admitted his service to the German army, he had never fully described the extent of his activities in the Balkans, region marked by numerous Nazi atrocities. The fact that Waldheim rose to such high levels after the war led many observers to question whether he enjoyed a special relationship with American, Soviet, or Yugoslav intelligence. Who's that? Mingla's fucking punk ass. Oh man. Yeah. The CIA once again felt suspect, and over the years there have been demands that the agency disclose any holdings that it might have regarding the Austrian diplomat, politician, and early 1980 Congressman Stephen J. Solars expressed interest in Waldheim's early life and put questions in the writing to Waldheim and the director of the CIA, William Casey. The agency's Office of Legislative Counsel told Congressman Solars that, quote, we believe that Waldheim was not they believe. Oh. Oh, Jesus Christ. they believe he wasn't a Nazi. That's what they told him. Oh God. Yeah. He was definitely an SS. The agency's response to Solars resulted in great embarrassment in both congressional hearings and during OSI's examination of Waldheim's wartime activities. As a result of OSI's 1987 report, the U.S. Attorney General placed Waldheim's name in the watch list to prevent his entry to the United States. The OSI concluded that Waldheim had participated in the transfer of civilians to the SS for slave labor, mass deportations of civilians to death. Oh, wait, where's that? Death camps and use of anti-Semitic propaganda, the mistreatment of execution of Allied prisoners of war, the reprisal execution of civilians. The report, however, did not address whether Waldheim had post-war intelligence connections with East or West. Consequently, whether he had any contact with either Western or Eastern intelligence services is still a matter of conjecture. Well, I would bet money. Where's that footnote at? Number 21 and 22. Oh, god damn it. It's probably at the end of the. Here it is. Notes 21, 22. Frederick P. Hitz, Office of Legislative Counsel, to Congressman Stephen J. Solars. Or wait, no, it's 21 and 22. U.S. Department of Justice Criminal Division, the matter of Kurt Waldheim, D.C., U.S. Department of Justice, 87. Robert Edwin Hertzstein, Waldheim, The Missing Years, Eli F. Rosenbaum, and William Hoffer, Betrayal, The Untold Story of Kurt Waldheim Investigation Cover-Up, 1993. Yeah, so, yeah, let's see here. What time is it? 3, wait, it's 4? Okay, the Vest Map of Moscow. Ooh. They need a map of Moscow, but yet they build the fucking Kama River truck factory there. Give me a fucking break. Jesus Christ. Let's see here. They need a fucking map, the best map of Moscow. You know, what the fuck is wrong with that William Casey? What a piece of shit. He builds a big truck factory there for what? How do we know it's even a truck factory? How do we know, was it laundered money? How do we know it was some kind of weird underground shit? How do we know that fucking you know, from my point of view, there better be aliens, because otherwise all this fucking stupid shit does not make any sense. Well, it makes total sense that they've got a world government and they're trying to get rid of the Constitution and all that stuff, but like, I don't know, it's all this, I don't know, it's all this, you know, A or B or C type situations. Like, I'm trying to believe anything. Let's see here. It's like, there's a famous quote: I don't know what is going on, but I know what isn't going on. Let's see here. How it began. The need for the reliable Moscow map was first identified. They needed somebody to identify that they needed a map of fucking Moscow. Seemed like that'd be a given. Tall order, 6 million inhabitants, blah blah. Yeah, try finding books from Moscow past a certain date. You know, they should have just fucking recruited some French agents or something and sent some Europeans to Moscow or something. Okay, these resource materials were assessed by wait, scoot back here. Okay, this magnitude far exceeded CIA's normal map reference and production procedures. Therefore, a special team approach was devised that involved close collaboration of all three divisions of the Geographic Research Area of DDI. The map library reference collection was searched for all relevant Russian, Soviet, and captured German army maps of Moscow. These resource materials were then assessed jointly by the USSR branches of the cartography and geography divisions, production, blah, blah, blah. The cartographic team members applied their technical skills to compile the draft precisely the locations and alignments of literally thousands of Moscow's streets. Their work eventually became the numerous color separation plates needed by CIA's reproduction facility to print the final map production. The Russian language and area expertise of the geographers was used to comb Russian textual materials to translate relevant information, extent of wartime damage and post-war reconstruction, transliterate each Russian street name from the Cyrillic to the Latin alphabet. Damn it, why won't this fucking joint stay lit? Let's see, what do we got here? Well, the red must be government stuff in Russia, I'm assuming. Council of Ministers, Palace of Congresses, the Lenin Library. Ooh, is that where they got his fucking mummy at? Damn. Sorry, my jaw's cracking. It's like, sometimes like, no, my jaw's always like crooked from where my dad broke it. That son of a bitch. One time, one of my friends asked me if I hated my dad because he broke my jaw, and I don't hate my dad, but he's a fucking asshole. I've definitely confronted him a few times about it, and he just didn't say nothing. He didn't even remember it even happened. It's like, motherfucker, every time I chew, it fucking my jaw crunches like this motherfucker. He better fucking give me one of his trucks. Let's see. That's the end of it. Oh, fuck it. Yeah. You should wonder what's going on in Russia. The Kama River Truck Factory. They pumped millions of dollars into it. Twice. Probably more than twice. Once in the 70s, once in the 90s. Once by William Casey and once by Billary. Maybe I should bust out the I know a good book. Good book. Let's see here. Wait, that's wrong. Okay, here we go. Let's just bust it out to a random chapter. Nah, maybe I better not. This is, well, maybe I better read some of it. Okay. This book is relevant. Very relevant because of Illuminists, communists, all their fucking little games. This book's called You Can Trust the Communists to Be Communists. Because this all is, keep in mind, they use the same strategy as France. Techniques for seizing power, philosophy of violence. The communists have worked out both theoretical and practical techniques for the achievement of their goal of world conquest. One of their fundamental theoretical texts, says Lenin's book, The State and the Revolution, which has now become the world's most translated book. Fuck Lenin. Lenin was the process of writing this book when he had left Switzerland and returned to Russia in 1917 to reorganize the communist seizure of power. The revolution that overthrew the Russian Tsar February 1917 was not a communist revolution, but a spontaneous mass rising supported by many different groups of people. When this genuine revolution took place, most of the important communist personalities were in exile either in Siberia or countries outside Russia. Once the revolution was accomplished, a political amnesty was declared. Thereupon, Bolsheviks and the revolutionaries who had been scattered throughout the world converged on Petrograd. Stalin returned from exile in Siberia to assume editorship of the Communist Party paper Pravda. Trotsky returned from Nova Scotia. Lenin returned from Geneva, Switzerland, where his pen had been pouring forth the flood tide of literature urging civil war in Russia. Upon his arrival in Petrograd, he informed the revolutionary workers that he had returned to conquer. Wait, what was that? Returned to conquer and govern Russia. His claim caused considerable astonishment, particularly in the ranks of the orthodox Marxists. It must be remembered that Bolsheviks, of whom Lenin was leader, were but a small party numbering some 20,000 members. Lenin's Marxist critics, when they had heard this claim, said, "Farewell, Lenin to Marxists, welcome Lenin the anarchist." Nonetheless, Lenin achieved the impossible within 6 months. It's fucking communist. Oh wait, within 6 months, with a small band of faithful followers, he'd stolen the legitimate fruits of the revolution, betrayed the working people of Russia, and established the greatest tyranny and dictatorship the world has ever known. The State and the Revolution, which he was writing at the time, was still considered a fundamental theoretical textbook. In it, Lenin sets forth how communists are to come to power within the state and why they must do it once, blah blah. See, it's like all these fucking commies don't get with the see, it's talking about fucking the greatest tyranny and dictatorship the world has ever known. That he gained control of the reins of their little commie revolution in Russia, and fucking all those fucking big commies all moved back to Russia. Why weren't they in Russia? You know, Lenin here, and then after they all got their shit together in Russia, they all blew each other's brains out. Fucking Trotsky, he was murdered. All sorts of people around Lenin were murdered. All sorts of people around what's his name were murdered. It's just fucked up. Lenin here concentrates upon the necessity of violence. See, that's what's really fucked up. Because violence is fucking bad. It doesn't solve anything. He considers government the instrument by which the ruling class controls and exploits the subject class. All government is class government, and the institutions of the state, such as legislature, executive, and judiciary, the police power, tax power, and educational institutions, are the instruments of the ruling class for the exploitation of the subjective class. According to Lenin's thesis, the governments of Europe and America were bourgeois bourgeoisie governments which existed to exploit the people. That's bullshit. These governments could be overthrown only through violence, and fucking that's what's bullshit. These fucking Marxists don't understand what individual rights are, what constitutional rights are supposed to be, that no law is supposed to be able to conflict with them, period. but yet all sorts of laws conflict with them because we are fucking slaves. We have to obey every unconstitutional law because if you don't, you get thrown into a fucking cage like a fucking animal. No, I don't mean to get so hyped about that. To Lenin, the use, force, and violence is not to be merely a reaction to force and violence used by the capitalists. See, I don't even believe capitalism exists. There's merchants. To make money is not. It's not. It's not a way of life. To him, force was an instrument of positive purpose and was totally devoid of an apologetic attitude toward its use. He states categorically that violence is essentially to their purpose, quote, the supersession of the Borghese state by the proletarian state is impossible without violent revolution, quote unquote. Remember if you go to the end of days radio, you watch enough of those broadcasts that I was on, you'll see me arguing with that fucking leftist lawyer from California, who was fucking uh, and then I got him, the ultra leftist, to admit that he was pro violence, and I'm fucking pro peace. I do not believe in violence, but I got a Democrat to admit on live fucking stream on End of Days Radio that he was pro violence. And fucking and then I threw it in his face. I'm like, see, I just got you to admit that you're pro violence. And fucking it's just fucked up. These communists, there were so many fucking videos on BitChute where there were communists punching old people in the face, going up behind them and punching them for no reason. Give me a fucking break. If I seen somebody do that, I would flip the fuck out and fucking get in their face if they hit somebody for no reason. That's what's wrong in the world. There's not enough people that are willing to stand up for people who are being, treated like fucking dogs. Even dogs shouldn't be treated like that. It's just fucked up. Dogs are fucking man's best friend. I mean, shit. That's fucking what was it? There was some of the old bikers back in the 90s. One of my friends got weed off from him. They said that he gave his dog gunpowder, and it was like, when I heard that, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, he fed the dog gunpowder? Like, that dude needed a serious fucking attitude adjustment. I don't know. I don't mean to get all hyped. Dude's probably fucking died of old age by now. To Lenin, the use of force. Wait, where's that here? In saying this, Lenin went further than his mentor, Karl Schartz, had done. Marx had allowed to possibility of bloodless revolutions in England and America. Marx claimed that since the bureaucracy was not developed to the same extent in these countries and as in other European countries, and since the police and military power of these states is not so great, there exists the possibility of peaceful transition to socialism. Well, I'd like to interject with that statement because I do believe that Marx was pro-violence because he was, where the fuck that? Let me capture that moth and get the fuck out of here. Which I could bring up examples of that, but I'm not gonna continue reading here. Lenin said that these conditions no longer applied. In Europe, in England, and in America, the revolution to bring about the transition from the bourgeoisie state to the proletarian must be violent. There could be no possibility of non-violent successful revolution. See, that's what these communists think. One of the specific crimes for which Lenin mercilessly chastised Karl Kautsky, the leading Marxist theorist of the Second International, was his continued clinging to the possibility of peaceful transition to socialism in England and America, as had been admitted by Marx. In his tirade, The Proletarian Revolution and the Renegade Kautsky, Lenin writes, Damn it, my joint went out again. Motherfucker. Further, was there in the 70s anything which made England and America exceptional in regard to what we are now discussing? There's a Lenin quote, by the way. It will be obvious to anyone at all familiar with the requirements of science in regard to the problems of history that this question must be put. To fail to put it as is tantamount to falsifying science, to engaging in sophistry. In the question of having been put, there can no doubt as to the reply. The revolutionary dictatorship of the proletariat is violence against the bourgeoisie or bourgeoisie, and the necessity of such violence is particularly created, as Marx and Engels have repeatedly explained in detail, especially the Civil War in France, and in the preface to it, by the existence of the military clique and bureaucracy. But it is precisely these institutions that were non existent, precisely in England and America, and precisely in the 1870s when Marx made his observations. They do exist in England and America now, end quote, quote unquote, by Lenin. Uh, yeah, the communist attitude on violence is frequently misunderstood. Even the opponents of communism think that the communists do not necessarily want violence, that they use violence only because the exploiting class resists their assumption of power. This was never the viewpoint of the communist leaders, particularly Lenin and Engels. Kautsky, who was reputed to have learned the entire works of Marx by heart, was viciously attacked by Lenin for his lukewarm attitude towards violence. Kautsky's attitude was that they might have to use violence, but that if they had to do so, it would be regrettable, for violence was bad and corrupted those who used it. In reply, Lenin quoted from Engels' book Anti-Düring. Uh, quote, this is by Lenin, quote, let me just hit this joint a couple times. Oh, make sure it stays lit. Quote, that force, however, plays also another role other than that of diabolical power. Well, that's added by the writer. I think in history, a revolutionary role, in the words of Marx, is the midwife of every old society which is pregnant with the new one, that it is the instrument with the aid of which the social movement forces its way through and shatters the dead, fossilized political forms. There is not the work of Herr Düring. It is only with signs and groans that he admits the possibility that force will perhaps be necessary for the overthrow of the economic system of exploitation. Fortunately, because of all, keep in mind this is a quote, because all uses of force, forsooth, demoralizes the person who uses it, and this despite the immense moral and spiritual impetus which has been given by every victorious revolution. And this in Germany, where the violent collision, which indeed may be forced on the people, would at least have the advantage of wiping out the servility which has permeated the national consciousness as a result of humiliation of 30 years' war, and this Parsons mode of thought, lifeless, insipid, and impotent, claims the right to impose itself on the most revolutionary party that history has known. End quote. So it's a Lenin quote. These are quotes proving that the Marxists are pro-violence. Lenin was an enthusiastical advocate of violence. His revolution was to be no peaceful transition. It is possible to sense the delight with which he proclaimed Engels' teaching on this subject. Quote, have these gentlemen, the anti-authoritarians, ever seen a revolution? A revolution is certainly the most authoritarian thing there is. I fucking hate reading all these stupid fucking communist fucking bullshit. People don't understand this shit though. It's like, uh, you know, I'm not gonna call anybody out, but somebody was like, "Oh, Antifa is not communist." It's like bull fucking shit. I guarantee every one of those motherfuckers is a fucking communist, and then they fucking hail the red flag, just like the red flag of the fucking Illuminists of France. Fucking just like the red flag of the fucking Fabians. Uh, man, this fucking joint tastes good. Okay. Blah blah blah. I mean, you read this book. I've only read like half or 3/4 of it, but I need to finish reading it. Chapter 6. I don't even remember where I left off, but I'm gonna have to probably just reread the whole thing. But it's relevant because of knowing the enemies. I mean, we have to know these communists, these Nazis inside and out because they don't like America and that we're Americans. And that you know, I believe in the Constitution. I believe in constitutional law. I believe in the constitutional republic. I believe in America. If somebody doesn't like that, they can fuck off. Because I've had many people my entire life tell me that I was not allowed to exercise the rights for my own fucking constitution, such as the right to assemble and have people over when fucking, or the right to not be searched over and over for no reason without probable cause or signed warrant. I'm not gonna get into that. And I don't know. And I don't know, fucking not only that, I've had a judge yell at me and say, "There is no constitution in my courtroom." And then I've had another judge when I was in custody court saying fucking I didn't have a right to be my own attorney. And he didn't directly say it, but I cornered him with words into saying it, and that he refused to answer when I asked, and then the court video goes missing, and then the stenographer's fucking notes go missing. Oh, just magically the the video and the fucking court stenographer shit goes missing from 3 different cases or 3 different court appointments, but the rest of them were all intact. That's just like a lower level bullshit. Fucking, we don't even know what the fuck's going on in the upper level bullshit. So much fucking bullshit running rampant everywhere. It's like, I mean, it's just fucking crazy. It's like when I built this house, I never wanted fucking gutters in the house. I mean, I could see why you should put gutters in the house, but if I was to have gutters, I would have put them up myself. And then, like before I moved in here, I come over here one day and my stepdad's like, "Oh, I paid some guy to put gutters on it." It's like, well, if I would have known that, I wouldn't have fucking nailed the edge shingles down hardcore like I did, because the dude was probably there all day. But then the dude never even finished the fucking. There's still a piece of like aluminum thing hanging off from the fucking thing. He never finished it. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I don't know. Like, I don't know. The world is. One time I went to a. Why is my camera frozen? One time I went to a. Was walking downtown or some shit. Fucking there was some kind of jewelry store in it. It's like, oh, free ring cleanings. I'm like, oh, sweet, I can clean my mason ring. And fucking, I go in there and I'm like, oh, and they're like, oh, we're not cleaning that ring. And I'm like, what? I'm like, whatever. It says free ring cleaning. You're gonna say no to me? It reminds me of that movie. I think it was what was it? Called Hero from 1992, I think. It's about this dude that like is like kind of an asshole, but he like saves some people and then he can't get credit for it. It's a pretty good movie. I think Phil recommended that. Yeah, I definitely recommend this book. I mean, it's kind of it's not really a long read, but it's like it's got a lot of really good points and that a lot of good quotes. I'm not gonna sit here and dwell on it the whole. Damn, my fucking joint went out. Oh well. All right. Well, maybe I should just pass out here playing cards all day. Fucking. Let's see. Vision of the UN Charter. What do we got here? G. Edward Griffin. Let's see. Go from the back of the list up. Well, these are probably all older. Go to the other book folder here. Okay. Sorry, I'm slow. Let's see your name. What is this? Oh, that's interesting. That's not what I was looking for. Some kind of field guide for the okay, let's see, UFO. This is somewhat relevant, I guess. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna talk about UFO shit. Yeah, this is the UFO thing that discusses Project Snowbird. Let's see, what is this? 11145. What is this? Documents of National Security Supplement. Paul, what year is this? Library of Congress, microfilm, 1989. What is this? I don't think I really need to go through that. What did I even save this for? Okay, it's not about UFOs, so. Yeah, is there a gnat in here? What's going on? Wait, how long ago was that said? Okay, yeah, I might just pass out here. Well, maybe not. Let me just. Let's see. What do I got here? It's 54. Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna list out this book here. Oops. Well, I don't know if I wanna. Okay, yeah, I guess I'm gonna put this on the screen here. Full screen. Okay, share screen. Push like 10 fucking buttons to share the screen. United Nations Participation Act of 1945. December 1945, the Congress passed the United Nations Participation Act, which provided specifically for the negotiation of Article 43 agreements. It is stated, Section 6, that the President is authorized to negotiate a special agreement or agreements with the Security Council, which shall be subject to the approval of Congress by the appropriate act or joint resolution providing for the number of types of armed forces, their degree of readiness, general locations, and nature of facilities and assistance, including rites of passage, to be made available to the Security Council on its call for the purpose of maintaining international peace and security in accordance with Article 43 of said charter. The President shall not be deemed to require an authorization of Congress to shall not be deemed to require the authorization of Congress to make available to the security. In other words, the violation of the War Powers Clause of the United States. That's all. Jesus Christ. I don't think I'm gonna get into this, but that's relevant to a lot of this stuff because it's like they did the same thing when they made that Kama River factory. Did Congress allow the Kama River factory to get all that money from William Casey, or did he just do it? I'm gonna grab one more cigarette, I guess. Yeah, but then I'm going to sleep. If I can, tired. Yeah. So the UN. Yeah. See right here. Both houses of Congress were given vetoes of the decision. Launch the aggressive, blah, blah, blah. The constitutional text was changed from giving Congress the power to make war to the power to declare war in order to leave to the executive power to repel sudden attacks and to clarify that Congress had no role in the actual conduct of war. Let's see. Would you remember that Cooper episode I was playing last night that was discussing the whole situation, basically, legally speaking? I mean, legally speaking, it's all fucked. I mean, but I still support America and stuff, and I think that it can be unfucked simply by people using their brains. I mean, that's. Even I'm just gonna use that cigarette roller. Where'd it go? Oh, I can't see. Where did I put that? Oh, there it is. Oh, what does that say? Why did you cry? Wait, somebody's crying over there? Oh, okay, I see. G. Edward Griffin, yeah, he's got some good stuff there. Okay, yeah, I don't go by the rap name anymore. I quit rapping, except at the end of the show. Yeah, what was I gonna say? No. Oh, damn it, where's my keyboard? What was I gonna say? What have wait, how does that go? What could I say that I haven't already said about your mom? Well, so yeah, I'm not gonna get that one. Let's see. Chaos, War, or a New World Order. What is that book? Oh wait, this is older book. Well, I know where to get gold and silver, but I don't have money. Let's see here. What year is this? 1938. That's too old. Let's see. Communications, extraterrestrial intelligence. I'm not gonna read that. Well, I thought about making some t-shirts or something. God damn, why is this tobacco so dry? What is this? Communist psychological warfare brainwashing. What do we got here? Consultation by Edward Hunter. Oh, this is a good one. Excuse me. Okay. Communist psychological warfare brainwashing. Damn, this cigarette's dry as fuck. 1953, March 13th, including index. Let's see, synopsis, page 1. Okay, I don't think there's too many pages here. Where's page 1? Public law, rules of synopsis. Okay, here we go. Oops. Communist psychological warfare is now winning such extensive victories in the United States that the Red Bloc will not need to employ direct military force against us in order to win the total war which they are waging with this country. The principal target, Edward Hunter, American expert on communist brainwashing, warned in the consultation with the staff of the Committee of Un-American Activities. Mr. Hunter, whose career as a foreign correspondent, author, editor, world traveler, and specialist in propaganda warfare, qualifies him as an authority on communist propaganda techniques, stated, quote, I spent 30 years, a little more perhaps, in countries under various forms of communist pressure and attack. What I am witnessing in America is no different from what I saw in those other countries. I am often referred to as someone who has made phenomenal predictions that prove correct on things to come. Actually, I have never made a prediction as such in my life. I have only predicted in the manner that one predicts the total of 4 after seeing the figures 2 plus 2. It's a pretty generic statement. I've been watching developments of the communism parts of the world. Now I see exactly the same developments here in America. Quote. These developments, he continued, included first of all the penetration of our leadership circles by softening up and creating a defeatist state of mind. This includes penetration of our educational circles by a similar state of mind, in addition to one other thing, the long range perspective of the professor who is above anything that is happening here and now, considers himself as an objective spectator in a long, long vista of history. Okay. What does it say? Tulsa, Oklahoma. Quote, I see primarily as part of the. Wait, I read that part. Where did I stop? Wait, I see primarily as part of the softening up process in America, the liquidation of our attitudes on what we used to recognize as right and wrong, what we used to accept and as absolute moral standards. We now confuse moral standards with the sophistication of dialectical materialism, the communist crackpot theology which teaches that everything changes and that what is right or wrong, good or bad, changes as well. That's what I'm talking about. Situational ethics. That situational ethics bullshit. So another thing they say is really good or bad. This fucking is right on the fucking money on that one. There is no such thing as truth or lie. Any belief we actually held was simply our being unsophisticated. They don't say this in so many words, except to those who are already indoctrinated in communism. What they do say to the rest of us is to be objective, and then they twist that word objective into meaning what they mean by dialectical materialism. Quote, war has changed its form, end quote, Mr. Hunter declared. Quote, the communists have discovered that a man killed by a bullet is useless. He can dig no coal. They have discovered that a demolished city is useless. Its mills produce no cloth. The objective of communist warfare is to capture intact the minds of the people and their possessions so they can be put to use. See, they want free labor. This is the modern conception of slavery that puts all others in the kindergarten age. Quote, the United States is the main battlefield in this red war. I mean specifically the people and the soil and the resources of the United States. Quote, it should be obvious to anyone who has observed the so-called Cold War that the United States is its principal target. We need only read what the communists themselves say, but we refuse to do so. Exactly as we could not believe that Schiller meant what he said in Mein Kampf. Quote, the first battles in this total war have already been won by the forces of international communism in the United States. These victories are identical to those they have won in every country which they have ultimately taken over. They have succeeded in softening up the large element of the American population, particularly among those to whom we look for guidance, our so called intellectuals and so called liberal circles. Remember what the Illuminati made in Europe, their reading clubs. They have succeeded in making the United States think and talk of a coexistence period as if that were an end in itself. When other parts of the world, as in India, the Reds frankly explain that this coexistence is merely intended to give the Americans an easy way to choose their road towards communism. This is strategy. The Kremlin is merely giving the United States the choice of surrendering by voluntary change of attitude to avoid more destructive ways of surrender. Unfortunately, the United States' large elements, mainly among our non communist population, have been softened up into believing that if we can just stall on the situation, it will take care of itself. Uh, the Reds have succeeded in inducing business communities to look at Soviet trade as a means of restoring prosperity. Like when they import all the bullshit from other countries and destroy the middle class in America. Large business elements with all their financial and other resources are now being used to help the communist objective of softening up America for recognition acceptance of Red China, for instance. End quote. Communists are being abetted in their brainwashing program in the United States, Mr. Hunter declared, by the collapse of traditional American ideals and self reliance and the individual integrity. Uh, quote, the communists have been operating for a full generation. Keep in mind, this is back in 1960 some. Full generation taking strategic advantage of the American principles, exploiting the best sides and our characters as vulnerabilities and succeeding for a generation and changing the characteristics of Americans. I remember when I was young, every personnel department was looking for leadership qualities. What was sought was a man's capacity as an individual to achieve new things. Today, that is not even considered by personal personnel departments in their employment policies. They ask instead if the man gets along with everybody. Yeah, fucking bullshit. You shouldn't have to get along with people if you work with them. They should do what the fuck they're told. Uh, that's fucking. Where was I at? Yeah, I used to watch over construction crews and babysit a bunch of construction workers that didn't know how to do anything, even though they did it the week before just fine. It's fucking idiots. What? Then I have to like do it for them, like show them how to do it a million fucking times. Like, what was sought was, I mean, today that is not even considered. They ask, they do not ask what is his individuality. They ask how he conforms. When we raise a young man, we to believe that at all costs he must get on with everyone. We have put him into a state of mind that almost guarantees, if he falls into the hands of an enemy such as the communists, that he will react as he had been raised to try to get on, because he must not be antisocial. Being antisocial has become the cardinal sin in our society. We have to again go back to the characteristics of ours which made us as individuals say that what is right, and whether or not is antisocial makes no difference. See, that right is right thing is right because uh, the the um, the situational ethics makes people think things that are wrong are right, and that's not a good thing. The young man who broadcast Red Chinese was simply getting along as he had been taught to do by our educators. As an example of the success the communists are achieving, Mr. Hunter cited statistics on American prisoners in the war in Korea. Quote, never before in history had so many captured Americans gone to the aid of the enemy. Quote, for 2 years, the services studied the records of the prisoners. What they found was not pretty. Quote, total of 7,190 Americans were captured. Of these, 6,656 were Army troops, 263 were airmen, 231 Marines, 40 Navy men. Quote, in every war in American history, some men have managed to escape. Korea was the exception. Quote, roughly, I guarantee Korea was probably a fucking brainwashing operation. It's MacArthur had proved that the UN had aided and abetted the Koreans and giving the Koreans the United States military attack plans in Korea. And if that wouldn't have happened, then I guarantee thousands and thousands of Americans would have been captured by the Korean military. Uh, brainwashed. Fucking, because I don't fucking trust no John McCain with his thumb screws. Quote, roughly one of every 3 American prisoners collaborated with the communists in some way, either as informers or propagandists. Quote, in the 20 prison camps, 2,730 of the 7,190 Americans died, the highest mortality rate among the prisoners in United States history. Many of them died unnecessarily. They either did not know how to take care of themselves or they just lay down and quit. Some sick or wounded died of malnutrition, abandoned by their comrades. Quote, discipline among Americans was almost non existent. It was a case of dog eat dog for food, cigarettes, blankets, clothes. Quote, for the first time in history, Americans, 21 of them, swallowed the enemy's propaganda line and declined to return to their own people, end quote. Mr. Hunter declared that in the struggle with the Soviet Union, quote, we are losing so fast that unless we put a very drastic end to it, the question of who is winning will be academic in a decade, end quote. Quote, people at lectures and elsewhere, he declared, quote, frequently asked that of me as if begging me, excuse me, to say that we are winning. I wish I could, but one only has to think of the position of the United States at the end of the war and compare it to now. We only have to look at the map of the world as it was when we signed the peace on the battleship Missouri and compare it to the map now. Great areas with enormous populations have fallen into the hands of the Reds, not through any approximation of the democratic process, but through sheer power pressures by psychological warfare. End quote. Just keep in mind, after the fucking World War II, when we joined the UN, that America was the peacekeeping forces for the UN bullshit. And then America had to fucking send all these people, all these fucking countries, and fucking, it's fucking bullshit. There's no constitutional, congressional waging of war. It was the UN under Article 43 and the United Nations peacekeeping fucking the Participation Act. Fucking even an ultimate superiority in military weapons may not sufficient to guarantee the survival of the United States, Mr. Hunter cautioned. Quote, in Korea, we had atomic weapons but lost the war and were unable to use those weapons because of a political and psychological climate created by the communists. The Kremlin today is fighting total war. This means total not with weapons of psychological destruction alone, but mental destruction too. Don't forget how Moscow treated the fucking U.S. embassy that was in Moscow, where Moscow was fucking pointing fucking radiation at the people that worked there, and they died of fucking cancer. These fucking Russians are dirty, dirty motherfuckers, dirty motherfuckers. Blah blah. The future Pearl Harbor Sputnik will be used if the situation demands, but not unless the Kremlin has first succeeded in conquering the character and the minds of a large enough element of the American people so that it will be fitting itself into the desires and needs of the communist apparatus, no matter whether they think of themselves as red or anti-communist, end quote. Mr. Hunter continued, quote, the most deadly misconception of all that requires the softening up of our thinking before we can make it is the idea that there are different kinds of communism, and that besides international communism there is something called national communism, which is fundamentally differs. There is nothing of the sort. We are again interpreting on the basis of wishful thinking what the communists themselves are plainly saying. We base this national communism conception on Titoism. Tito at no time disowned or expressed doubt in any of the fundamental tenets of communism. And he is today expending all the time he can in trying to tell the world that he believes in communism, intends communism objectives to win out the long run all over the world. Communism in this, too, has been able, as always, to get the help it needs from the non-communist and principally the anti-communist world. Quote, each time there has been a crisis in the Soviet Union, it could depend on the outside world for help. Today, under the theory that there are different forms of communism and some communist forms are not really communist or are less communist than others, we are giving through aid programs and such propaganda assists as so-called exchange scholarships to help in sustenance that these communist countries require to survive. I have heard that under certain technical requirements of the law, completely fantastic statements have come from the White House, the State Department, that communism in Yugoslavia really isn't communism anymore, and that communism in Poland isn't real communism. I thought we had learned our lesson in China. We said that the communism of China, the communism of Mao Zedong, and was not really communism. We said it was not communism of Moscow. Mao Zedong was saying it was the same communism, exactly as Tito says that the communist ideology is basically the same everywhere. The objectives for a communist world is identical, end quote. So you gotta understand that all these communists are like, oh, it's all different. It's fucking compartmentalized. No wonder it's different because it's fucking compartments. Fucking goddamn, people are fucking they don't understand the whole system. Let's see. The following consultation with Edward Hunter, author and foreign correspondent, was held at 10 a.m. March 13, 1958, room 226, Old House Office Building, D.C., pursuant to the authorization, blah, blah. Staff members, blah, blah. Mr. Aarons, Mr. Hunter, may I ask you if you would kindly give us, for the purpose of this record, a thumbnail sketch of your own personal history? Mr. Hunter, I am a journalist whose career began in the newspaper in New Jersey, New York Ledger, where I became a news editor. Then went to Europe and joined the Chicago Tribune in Paris. After an interlude on newspapers in America, I went to Japan to join the Japan Advertiser, becoming its new editor. A year later, I went to China, took over the Hankow Herald for the Communists. The Reds had just left. Shopkeepers still were talking of boxes of American dollars brought in by Moscow. Colonel Heimlich, what year was that? Mr. Hunter. Mr. Hunter, between 1926 and 1928. Remember events well, but not their years. Next, I went to Peking to become managing editor of the Peking Leader. I joined the Hearst newspaper syndicates in 1931. When the Manchuria incident began, I witnessed the creation of the puppet state of Chukuo. I accompanied a League of Nations mission of inquiry of Manchuria and saw the coronation of Emperor Puyi, now the prisoner of the Reds. Notice he joined Hearst newspapers, as in Patty Hearst's grandfather, I'm pretty sure. Hearst's International News Service was then sent me to Europe about the time of the Reichstag fire and its fake trial. I covered the conquest of Ethiopia by the Italian fascists, which took modern psychological warfare one step beyond Manchukuo. I also saw the two civil wars in Spain, the outbreak of the Basque territory, and the big fight, which was rehearsal for World War II. Back in Europe, I witnessed the intrigue of the various foreign offices preceding the outbreak of hostilities. I saw the Nazis take back Rhineland, how the Germany army expected the French government under the Premier Flandin to exhibit determination to show up Hitler as a failure. Schiller. Instead, it provided Schiller with a new demonstration of seemingly inevitable victory. World War II, of course, followed. Where was I at? I returned to America just before World War II, joining the joining the foreign news desk of New York Post newspaper guild, then was communist dominated. I set up a national committee to coordinate the efforts of the various anti-communist factions. For the first time in the history of trade unionism in America, the entire executive committee of the union was voted out. Although all I did was simply communicate with these anti-communist unions and let them know they were not alone. This election restored the newspaper guild to American instead of Moscow-oriented newspapermen. Colonel Heimlich, when the war came along, Mr. Hunter, you went into OSS, I understand. Mr. Hunter, yes, as a propaganda specialist. I call that my sabbatical year, really 2 years away from journalism. Colonel Heimlich, you covered a very broad area of Asia during the war years, didn't you? Mr. Hunter, I was in what is generally known as CBI theater, China, Burma, and India. Colonel Heimlich, do you find a measurable difference between the attitudes of the people during that period and the present? Mr. Hunter, during that period, America still had its old meaning to the other peoples of Asia as a symbol of hope that could be relied on, help on the realistic basis. Back in New York Post after the war, I found myself in the midst of a little Cold War that perfectly reflected the big one. The Post helped Wallace for president, and I got up a petition which almost everybody on the staff signed, pointing out that this did not represent our true feelings. The result was a thunderbolt to the lady who owned the newspaper. She fired the executives and divorced her husband, the publisher. He went out and started the Pro Red Compass. I stayed on a while as foreign news editor, then returned to Asia as roving correspondent for the Cox newspapers. I interviewed Chinese who had escaped from Red Holocaust, witnessed the jungle warfare in Malaya, the war of terror in Indochina. I traveled between Japan, Indonesia, and Burma. Recently, I returned after a year in Afghanistan. Mr. Ahrens, Mr. Hunter, how would you characterize the struggle between the East and the West? Mr. Hunter, we do not have a war between East and West. Certainly, the Filipinos are not the West. They are mostly Asians, like the peoples of Thailand, Iran, and Japan. This expression, the war between the East and the West, has become a part of our thinking process. Example of how a phrase can be can put great masses of people into a camp where they do not belong. What we really have is a total war in which the pattern for conquest by the communist hierarchy is set up against the peoples of all countries outside the red orbit, no matter whether they call themselves anti-communists or neutralists. Mr. Ahrens, who are the antagonists in this total war? Mr. Hunter, they are communists on the one side and all the other peoples of the world on the other. The Reds have a very practical setup. The antagonists, in their view, are the two strongest elements. On the one side, the Kremlin, the other side, the United States. Mr. Ahrens, when you say there's a total war, what do you mean? It is obvious that there is very little shooting going on in the world today. What are the devices of this total war? Mr. Hunter, war has changed its form. Communists have discovered that a man killed by a bullet is useless. He can dig no coal. They have discovered that a demolished city is useless. Its mills produce no cloth. The objective of communist warfare is to capture and intact the minds of the people and their possessions so they can be put to use. This is the modern conception of slavery that puts all others in the kindergarten age. Mr. Ahrens, where is this war being waged? Where are the battlefields? What are the geographical locations? Mr. Hunter, the battlefield is wherever there is no red peace, quote unquote. Peace in the communist vocabulary is a period when all have accepted in a so-called voluntary manner the inevitability of communist world. Battlefields are all the countries which have not yet fallen to the red orbit. The weapons used in this war are adjusted to the practical situation in each of those countries. So when the UN, when Lenin and Marx, when Lenin and fucking Stalin say peace, they mean the total absence of all opposition to socialism. Mr. Ahrens, wait. Mr. Ahrens, what are those weapons? Mr. Hunter, they range from a smile and a discussion meeting to a leaflet and a bullet. Mr. Ahrens, is the United States part of this battlefield? Mr. Hunter, the United States is the main battlefield in the Red War. I mean specifically the people and the soil and the resources of the United States. It should be obvious to anyone who has observed the so-called Cold War that the United States is its principal target. We need only read what the communists themselves say, but we refuse to do so, exactly as we could not believe that Hitler meant what he said in Mein Kampf. Mr. Ahrens, does this mean what the principal objective is to convert the people of the United States to communism? Is there objective conversion or subversion and conquest? Mr. Hunter, since Hungary, the world should know that communism is not an ideology except as a weapon for conquest. The red objective against the United States is not the conversion of the American people to communism any more than it was to make true communists out of the American prisoners of the war in Korea. Communist system is a power system, just as was that of Genghis Khan. We now have the same invading armies given a new poised political phraseology, making them hypocritical in a manner that The original hordes never were. The objective of all communist conquest is simply use for power. They seek to conquer the United States in a manner so that it voluntarily falls into the red orbit. If we have to be conquered by destructive nuclear age weapons, it will be considered a setback by the Kremlin. Their objective is to make the same use of the American people as they make of the Czechs and the uranium mines in Czechoslovakia, and as they make of the Chinese and the mills of China. We are to become subjects of the new world order for the benefit of a mad little knot of despots in the Kremlin. Mr. Ahrens, on the basis of your background and experience, and as an intimate observer of this total war, Mr. Hunter, please express to us now your best appraisal of who is winning and who is losing this total war. Mr. Hunter, I am always surprised to hear that. Well, I think we already read this part here. You get the idea. I mean, there's a lot. I didn't realize this was so many pages. 33 pages. God damn it. I've been over so many documents like this shit. Fucking. When I'm by myself, I can read a lot quicker, so I don't say it all and stuff. There's a lot going on with this stuff. But yeah, I'm probably gonna pass out here, so put on a rap tune before I go. Nah, I don't know, maybe not. Nah, I guess I will. Yo, communist vomit pits. Yo, they stay ostracized. Little chump ass bitches, wallet size. Y'all motherfuckers swallow lies. Come across the motherfucking realize. Yo. I rap about extraterrestrials eating vegetables that are delectable. Come back like respectable. Yo, got the complex. Nah, I'm passing. Alright, peace out.